Hi everyone, this is Tina Von Hatten from Meaningful Explorations. Today we're meeting in the garden, and I have a little visitor with me. Yeah, look at that. Today we are in our, not just a garden, we're in the Mary garden. We brought our little helper here and my oldest daughter, Maria. And over the years in our homeschool, we've planted a few different Mary gardens, and we've done a lot of research on different flowers. We had in our old house before we moved here, the Mary garden in a sunny location. In this house, this garden already existed and it looked like it just needed a Mary statue and a few more flowers. And so that's why we've located it here. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Mary gardens, what they are and how they came to be and why you should plant one too. Maria, so I made you do a lot of the research as part of a school project back in, I think, grade 7 or 8.
I think it would have been around then.
Yeah, somewhere around that. And what did you learn about the Mary garden? Where did they start?
It started in the monasteries and convents, just in their regular gardens where they would grow their food and a lot of medicinal herbs. And at the time, people just started seeing the plants as sort of different symbolisms relating to Mary and Jesus. And so it sort of just turned into what we now know as the Mary garden, where a lot of ordinary plants now have symbolisms and meanings relating to Mary and Jesus.
Okay. Could you give us an example, like for one of the flowers here, like maybe the bleeding hearts maybe?
The bleeding hearts, for example, symbolize Mary's heart at the crucifixion, because that obviously was a very, very sad time for her.
You're so busy. And we have lots of other flowers in here. We've got the poppy, which I believe is Christ's blood.
The poppy is Christ's blood.
And the hostas right next to you there.
Yes, these ones here, they're known as Assumption lilies.
So they flower later on in the summer.
Yes.
I just probably should let everyone know that we're in like a zone 3B, zone 4A. If you look at the USDA chart for gardening, I think Canada's even on a bit of a different temperature range. I think it goes by how many cold frost days, or like based on your frost dates. Anyway, so our growing season here is really, really short. So even though what's today, the 23rd of June, most of you had your gardens looking like this 2 months ago if you live in a warmer climate, in a zone 6 or zone 7. So our garden's just really starting to fill out here. So yeah. Anyway, we didn't talk much about what a Mary garden is. Like we know where it originated from, the origins of it, but what is it meant to do? Like, why do Catholics have them? You see them sometimes, I know when we lived in Germany, do you remember seeing the little wayside shrines and little gardens, sometimes behind a church? I know a couple churches here in the city that I know of for sure have Mary gardens outside or in behind the churches. Why is that? Like, why do Catholics do this? Like, why would we have a Mary garden?
Well, a Mary garden is supposed to be a place of, supposed to be sort of peaceful and serene, filled with lots of lovely plants, and especially with the symbolisms, they're supposed to remind us of God,
His creation,
the story of creation, the story of redemption, especially with plants like the bleeding hearts or the poppies or Christ's blood. So they're just supposed to remind us of God and His life and of His mother.
You.
And they're just supposed to bring us closer to God and a place to meditate and pray.
Good. And so, what advice would you give to anybody who's wanting to start a Mary garden? What did we look at when we kind of, this place led itself to have a Mary garden. It had a nice little path, and we put a statue there and some angel statues that are somewhat broken, but we're still there. But like, what do you need? Just a few plants, a few flowers?
It doesn't have to be fancy. Just if you have a statue of Mary and some plants, it can even be just a small planter pot. It doesn't have to be quite as big as this one. Just whatever space you have. Like if you live in an apartment with just a balcony, you can have just a planter pot.
And you stealing the show here. You love it in Mary's garden. So I don't think you can see it in the frame here, but we also have a bench here. And my husband and I like to sit out here when he comes home from work, and sometimes we'll just talk about the day. Sometimes we'll come out here to pray. So when you're determining where you want to put your garden, you might want to think about shade garden or sun garden. Different flowers thrive in different places. Hi, sweetie. So you stay there, okay? Yeah. Filming with little children. It's not always the way it doesn't go quickly or easily, does it? Yeah, what did you get? So here we are in our shade Mary garden, which is a great place to do a garden, especially if you have like us a small urban backyard and we're trying to grow as much food as possible in the sunny locations of our backyard. So plus this space was already here when we moved in, so I thought it lent itself great to a Mary garden. So we had a Mary garden statue, and we put a few angel statues there and just added flowers that thrive in shade. And some of them are not typical shade flowers, and you can just try. It's a trial and error kind of thing. We pick the flowers that we like and just see what grows and thrives. Like hostas are typically a shade garden, but the oriental poppy here behind Maria isn't necessarily, or the petunias over here, but they're growing, they're doing okay. And if you live in a climate that's zone 6 or 7, like a hotter climate than ours, and where you get regular, 30 Celsius, 35, 40 Celsius, you'll want to grow in a shade garden. You probably can get away with having roses in that kind of a shade garden, where they're not going to totally be scorched by the sun. But if you do have a sunny location and that you would like to grow flowers in, roses are wonderful. Zinnias, cosmos.
Yarrow is good.
Yarrow.
Lilies.
Yes, lots of lilies, yeah.
Great, yeah.
And then you can also add in some herbs. There's lots of herbs that have Marian names, like basil and lavender.
Rosemary.
Exactly. So we moved them because the squirrels do lots of damage in here. We had some strawberry plants in here, and they represent the fruitful virgin. You can do even things like the strawberries in amongst them, and you can get really creative and let your kids help. Like my kids have helped. She's been doing gardening for a long time, and the little kids will come and I think the boys planted the violas and the pansies here this year. We've also had bulbs in here before that the boys planted, but the squirrels get those. So you have to know what's going on in your neighborhood. Squirrels are not very nice to our flowers. We had calendula in here, and they just started lobbing the heads off all of them. So we moved the calendula, and so far they're okay. So like I said, we really love our Mary garden. It's a nice place to pray. We have a bench here. I don't know if you can see it, but we have a nice bench here where my husband and I will come out after he comes home from work, and we'll sit here and discuss the day. We'll pray together. And sometimes I see all the little kids' heads lined up here, and they just sit here and chit-chat under the nice big green ash tree and watch the birds and just contemplate the beauty of God and creation and just be. And so if you have a special place in your yard, or even if it's just a balcony, you can put, like Maria said, a little pot of a Mary statue, or a statue Saint Fiac or Saint Francis, and there, and have a nice contemplative garden and start to contemplate nature and enjoy nature and invite the birds, like you're the sparrows. chirping in the background. Yeah, the sparrows have babies. My son was telling me the sparrows have babies. And just have a place where everybody can enjoy and learn. And, you know, I mean, this is great. You did a whole botany study. You did lots of plant research and learned lots about different flowers and their meanings and their uses. And I'll have lots of the resources that we've been using over the years listed in the box below, and check those out. And if you have any questions about growing a Mary garden or starting a Mary garden, or if you have a favorite flower and you can't find the meaning of it and you'd love to know the Marian or the biblical meaning of it, just leave a comment below. And if you have a Mary garden that you'd love for us to take a look at, send us a comment and we'll be more than happy to take a look and share the knowledge and the love of gardening. And I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else to add about the Mary gardens?
No, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
All right. Oh, mosquito! Get it! All right, we'll see you next time here on Meaningful Explorations. Be sure to check out our other videos, and we're always up to something. We're always busy. We're always making and doing and learning as a homeschool family who loves to learn things and do things. So come check it out. See you next time.